Manually doing programming tests takes a long time, and alternatives needed. So we here at SQL Server Sapphire are bringing you automated testing bootcamp with Robot Framework. We're going to walk you through the basics real fast, so get ready to follow along on your computer. This is a hands-on tutorial. That will help you a lot. In the next few minutes, we're going to install Python, install Selenium, install the Robot Framework, and many other things. So warm up your fingers and get ready, because we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So the first thing I want you to do is open up your browser, go to Google, and in Google search, type in Python. Python is the language on which the Robot Framework operates. So what we have to do first is download the highest version of Python 2, which is different from version Python 3, in which they are actually rebuilding Python, so it has a different set of commands. So what we want is the highest version of Python 2. We'll download it. I'm going to let it download, and I will resume this video once it finishes downloading. Okay, so Python has finished downloading. What I'm going to do is go to the folder, and I have to install my just recently downloaded MSI file. So I'm going to double click it, let it install. I'm going to click install for all users. Based on what your purposes are and your environment, you might want to just install it for yourself. But in my case, I'm fine with installing it for all users. If you install it for just you, it'll only be accessible via your account when you log in Windows. So I'm going to install it for all users. Next, the directory, it says select destination directory. You basically could select the drive you wanted, the directory you want the actual source files to install in. I'm going to select Python 22, the default, which will install in C/Python 22. That's fine for me. I'll click next. I want everything installed, and I also want, see this X at the bottom? I want it to actually add Python to my path. So I'm going to say will be installed on a local hard drive. I select that. And then I will click next. It says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yep. I will click yes. And I will let it install. So while it installs, I'm going to pause this video. I suggest you do the same, and we'll continue shortly. Okay, so Python has completed installing on the computer. I'm going to click finish. And now what I'm going to do is go to Explorer, Windows Explorer. I'm going to click on this PC, and I'm going to right click and go to Properties in the drop down menu. As you can see, it opens up the system security/system path. So what I want to do here is I want to see my path variables. So I would click on Advanced System Settings, and then I would go to System Properties, and under the Advanced tab I would click on Environmental Variables. As you can see here, we have a list of Windows environmental variables, and under System Variables, what I want to do is click on Path, go to Edit, and as we can see here, Python 27 has been installed, and Python 27/scripts, those drives have been added to my environmental variables path. What this means is that if I was to open up command prompt, so you can do that by going to run and type in cmd, enter, if I was to type in, if I was to run any executable from any drive location command prompt that exists in either the Python 22 directory or the scripts directory under Python 22, what would happen is that it would run no matter what directory I'm running it from in command prompt. So as we can see, Python, I type in Python, and it runs the Python bash shell. So, however, as you can see, python.exe exists over here. It does not exist in this directory. There are no executables called python .exe in user/numo. Okay, so what we're going to do next is install robot framework. So in order to install robot framework, what we're going to type in is pip from, so you want to actually open up command prompt. So type in so you'll type in cmd. When you see command prompt, the desktop app appear, you right click and run as administrator. This is important because I believe there are some requirements for these installs that require, for these libraries that are going to be installed, that require administrative privileges. So once you've opened up administrator command prompt in administrator mode, we're going to type in pip, which is Python's default library installation software. And then we're going to type in pip space install space robot framework. Enter. So what's happening now is that pip is going to a server, pulling the robot framework libraries, then installing it. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, it just successfully installed. Now we're waiting for this bash shell to complete. I'm going to pause it for now. Okay, so it downloaded the robot framework software in the other window, and once it downloaded that file, it installed it on my local, it installed the libraries on my local computer, as can be seen here. The next command we're going to run is type pip install robot framework dash selenium to library. So robot framework is doing the same thing that I did before, but while it downloads, I'm going to explain to you what the robot framework is and what Selenium is. So Selenium runs on top of Python because that's the language it was created in. So it requires Python to execute, and robot framework is another layer or another software application that runs on top of Selenium, which is a testing framework that actually allows you to make test cases in a more simpler language. It makes it easier for you to create tests. So this is why we're using Selenium. So as you can see, we just installed robot framework and now Selenium has been installed. So next what we're going to do is download the browser drivers that we'll need, browser and database drivers that we're going to need in order to write test cases for both our web pages as well as the backend databases. So what I want you to do is go to C drive and create another folder called bin, bin. Now what I want you to do is go back to your browser and type in, what we're going to do now is we're going to install the drivers that will help Robot Framework execute test cases on the different browsers. So what I want you to do is go to your browser and type in Selenium HQ in Google. So it's SELENIUM HQ. It will take you to a list of results, and what I want you to do is click on seleniumhq.org. From here, what I want you to do is go to the Downloads tab, which my mouse is over right now. Click it, and I want you to, as you can see on this page, we have a list of drivers. So we have the Internet Explorer driver. We have a driver for Google Chrome. We have a driver for Mozilla Firefox, which is called the Gecko driver. So for now, I want you to download all of these files. So I'm going to first download the 32-bit driver. That's important because that's what it works with for Internet Explorer. I clicked it. Next, and I've downloaded it. Next, what I want you to do after downloading the Internet Explorer driver server is to download the Google Chrome driver under third-party drivers. So I am on the Google Chrome page, and I'm going to find on this website the Google Chrome driver and click it. Click it. And I'm going to download the Windows version of this driver. And it's downloaded. And last but not least, I'm going to download the Mozilla driver. Based on what browsers you want to test on, you just got to download the drivers for them. You can just Google the drivers and you should be able to find it. So I'm going to download the Gecko driver for Windows. So download. And I have downloaded them all. So I'm going to extract. As you can see, my drivers are in this folder, and I'm going to extract each and every one of them to this folder. So extract all. You can use whatever tool you want to extract it. So now I have 3 folders. One of them has a Chrome driver in it, one of them has the Gecko driver in it, and one of them has the IE driver in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the executables in each of these folders and put them in my bin folder. Paste. So my IE driver is in my bin folder. Cut. And paste. Now my Gecko driver or my Mozilla driver is in my bin folder. And last but not least, my Chrome driver. Cut, paste, and now that is also in my bin folder. So now that all 3 of these are in my bin folder, what I want to do is go back to Explorer, click on this PC, right-click Properties, and open up the Control Panel System window. Go to Advanced System Settings, go to User Account Control and say yes. Now click on Environmental Variables, click on Path, and we're going to add a new environmental variable. So I'm going to click on New, C/bin/. So now we're going to add to the environmental path the bin directory so that any file that is in that folder can be executed from any directory anywhere on this computer. So I will click OK. After adding the variable, I will click OK in environmental variables. I will click OK on system properties, and I will close this window. And I will minimize my Explorer, and we are done installing the drivers for the different browsers. What we're going to do next is we are going to install the drivers for Microsoft SQL Server. So what I want you to do is open up a new tab, and we will go to the following URL, github.com/franc/robot framework/database/library. All of these links and commands will be shown in the comment section of this video. So press enter. And as you can see here, we are now at the Git repository for the SQL Server driver which is an external library which operates with Robot Framework. So what I want to do in this repository is download the zip file for this database driver library. So downloading the zip, I'm going to let it download, and then I will resume this video shortly. Okay, so the Robot Framework, we just downloaded the zip from GitHub. We're going to go to show in folder, and we're going to go to the Robot Framework zip that has just downloaded, right click it, and go to extract here. As you can see, a new folder was created for the Robot Framework database library, which has all the files from GitHub in it. What I want you to do is go to the root directory, click Control-Shift, and then right-click. What you'll see is a new command show up called Open Command Window here. So I want you to click that. Open Command Window here. What that will do is open up command prompt pointing to the directory that we just extracted with all the Robot Framework database driver files. What I want you to do next is type in Python setup py install. What this will do is it will install the driver from files rather than by using Python's packet management library. The reason why we're doing this is because we needed the newest version of this library, because the older versions available via pip have a bug in it that actually affected some testing functions for the database. So after the database drivers have been installed, what we want to do is install the database API for Robot Framework, which will allow the driver to interact with the Robot Framework. So pip install pymsSQL, and so this will pull in the actual API for interacting with Robot Framework, and it's installed. So next, what I want you to do is go to google.com, type in PyCharm, which is an IDE we're going to use to write test cases. Go to download PyCharm, go to community, and click download. So I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go to the folder in which PyCharm is located, right click it, and run as administrator. I'll click yes. You can close all your command prompt windows for now, as well as the other windows that were opened previously that we're not using. So now that the PyCharm installation window has opened, we'll click next. I'm going to use the default destinations folder. I'll click next. I'm going to associate it with py files. I'm going to create a desktop icon. Next. I will install it. Next. And as it installs, I am going to pause this video. Okay, so PyCharm has finished installing. I'm going to click Run PyCharm Community Edition and click Finish. I'm going to say, since this is my first install on this computer, I'm going to say I don't have a previous version of PyCharm and I don't want to import my settings, so I click OK. And the PyCharm IDE is going to start up. I will accept the privacy policy and I will click OK, and I will click create a new project if I wanted to start a project. However, I think I'll end this video for now. In the next video, we will actually set up quick test cases, since this is the initial installation of the testing suite has been installed. So right now we could actually begin to write test cases. So this milestone has been completed. I'll see you in the next video where we'll actually write test cases. See you soon.